So Poetik Flakko alleges that Doechii and Beyonce's Grammy wins were DEI awards. So for those who don't know who DEI, how people use that term, people use the term DEI nowadays, especially on the conservative right wing in America. They use it as a way to say someone got a position or they got something based off of their identity, whether it's their gender, their ethnicity. People say DEI suggests that someone got something based off their identity rather than merit, right? So obviously we know Beyonce is one of the hardest working people in music, and we know Doechii has been working her tail off the past couple of years, if not longer. It's actually a disrespectful term. It's like even disrespectful to suggest that their awards were won based on DEI. But I'm gonna show y'all how to respectfully disagree with someone even though you think what they said was disrespectful. Because apparently nowadays, some people have trouble doing that. So let's teach these bums. Poetik Flakko, shout out to you. Let's hear what he's got to say.
The Grammys officially have a DEI problem. Black Twitter has officially hijacked the Grammys and is currently holding it hostage. But before we can discuss exactly why I feel that way, let's just talk about some things that I did like watching the Grammys tonight, right? You know, that's usually how it goes, right? You give some compliments and things you do like before you get into the hating, right? So here's what I do like about the Grammys this year. Okay. Kendrick Lamar getting the respect he deserves. Yeah, he deserves to win Best Rap Song and Best Music Video. For a rap song, to me, that was a foregone conclusion. Yeah. What other rap song last year can you really think of that's even in the same breath as Not Like Us?
Like That, which is Future featuring K-Dot.
There's none, right? So that that was one of those categories where it was a foregone conclusion. We already knew he was going to win that.
Facts.
Best music video, that could have gone either way. I'm glad he won it. I'm glad he brought it home. That's it, people. Sure. That's all. That's the only thing I like about the Grammys this year. That's it. All right. Now let's get into the buffoonery and how Black Twitter is holding the Grammys hostage. All right. Okay. Do y'all remember last year when Jay-Z had this moment at the Grammys, chastising them for
I don't really. I know. What about y'all? I don't watch the Grammys. I think I'm still conditioned not to watch it. You know, when I was coming up, people, like, we decided not to watch the Grammys, not to watch the Oscar because they was racist. So I still have, like, the idea in my head that the Grammys are useless. Maybe I need to grow up.
Album of the year.
We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right. At least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't got to clap at everything. Obviously it's subjective because, you know, it's music and it's opinion-based. But, you know, some things... You know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year.
She's talking about like Beyonce.
So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work.
What Jay-Z did there last year was plant the seed and ask the Grammys to give Beyonce a DEI Album of the Year.
DEI Album of the Year. I think Jay-Z was just campaigning for his wife. I mean, fair, right? I mean, I think that's fair.
Because when you look at when Beyonce was up for Album of the Year and who she lost to, you understand it. Like, she wasn't robbed. She wasn't treated unfairly.
Who was she up against?
The Grammy did her justice by nominating her, but who she lost to ultimately deserved the award. We, including myself, are attached to Beyonce culturally, so we may think she deserves to win because we have a soft spot for her. But if you look at the statistics, the facts don't care about her feelings, bro. Look at the stats. When Beyonce was up for Album of the Year, 2010, I Am Sasha Fierce. Who she lose to? Taylor Swift, Fearless.
Yo, coming up in the era of Taylor Swift, that's like coming up in the era in the early 2000s. Let's do an NBA comparison. If you're a musician and you came up during the era of Taylor Swift, which is basically 2010 onward, that's like coming up in the NBA on the West in the early 2000s, and you just got the Lakers. Like, you're not. It doesn't matter, yo. The Kings, Chris Webber, Jason Kidd, Doechii. Yo, it's the 2000 to 2002 Lakers, Kobe, Shaq, triangle offense. Like, it don't matter how good your team was. Like, you ran into a dynasty. That's T Swizzy, man. Shout out T Swizzy, man.
Swift sold 500,000 copies first week, spent like 11 consecutive weeks at #1. She and deserves
crazy
over Taylor Swift, Fearless. Sorry, buddy. What's next? Beyonce, when Lemonade was up for Album of the Year, she lost to Adele 25. Who sold 3.2?
Adele, you know, shout out Adele, man. Hold on. Can we get the Adele shot in? Shout out to Adele. She's one of the vinyls that I got right here. Man, I've been loving Adele since like 19, that 19 album, you know what I mean? 19, and I would have been like 15. You know?
Million copies first week. She lost to an album that sold 3.2 million copies first week. Adele 25 is a classic album. What's next?
Week. Yeah.
Oh, Renaissance. I believe that's last year. She lost to Harry Styles' Harry House. Harry House was Album of the Year, bro. right? Highest selling, highest grossing.
I'll take your word
Number
for
one
it,
hits.
Flakko.
Yeah, like that was album of the year, bro. So when Jay-Z like put the Grammys on blast and presented it as if they're treating her unfairly, what he's saying is, damn, bro, she can't get at least one album of the year, man.
Yeah, that's what he was saying, but I don't think that's him saying or suggesting she should win a DEI Grammy. And I'm just going to give Flakko the benefit of the doubt and assume that by DEI, he's using it how everyone else uses it by saying, yo, because DEI is diversity, equity, inclusion. It has to do with like numbers in the workplace based on identity, right? Different identity factors. I'm going to assume the way Flakko is using it as saying someone got something not because of merit. They got it because of identity or who they are. To me, it's not DEI, though. It's not DEI.
And they're asking the Grammys to give Beyonce a DEI Grammy of the Year that she don't deserve at all. And this year, it looks like planting the seed. It looks like Black Twitter criticizing the Grammys, holding them hostage on behalf of Beyonce. It looks like that worked.
I don't think Black Twitter has people on Twitter in general. I don't think they have them as much power as we think they do. I mean, when you have roads of people, and trust me, I know better than anybody. When you have waves of people attacking you, it can feel, to some people, it can feel bigger than what it is. But to me, it's just like people on Twitter. So, I mean, for me as a person, if it doesn't affect me like that, I doubt it's going to affect an institution like the Grammys to change what they're doing. The Grammys did have an issue, though, with rap. Like, Grammys, they were not nominating their rap wins, not only the wins, the nominations were not good for so long. Something had to change. And I think, actually, the Grammys has changed for the better. As someone who doesn't even watch it, based off the nominees alone, I think it's changed for the better.
Because Beyonce
they're getting it
got
right
an
a lot
album
more
of
than
the
they're getting it
year
wrong
this year
nowadays, past
that she
years.
doesn't deserve. This isn't about what I feel. This is about the facts. The facts suggest.
Oh, she look good right there, too. Anyway, stay on focus. Deserve, right? It just depends what does deserve mean? And how are we picking Grammy wins? Is it all about sales? Is it about critical acclaim, Metacritic? I mean, who has the highest score? Is it a combination of factors? When someone wins a Grammy over another person, why did they win it? And I think that's part of the reason I don't take it serious. It feels more so, nepotism is not the word, but it feels like a relationship thing. Like who's on a major label, and then there's probably some payola going on behind the scenes. It's like a bureaucratic business play, the Grammys is, more so than anything. So who deserves it? Like who deserves it?
Say don't deserve album of the year. Cowboy Carter won album of the year, but let's look at who else was nominated. Andre don't deserve it. Jacob don't deserve it. I feel like the real contenders here is Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter, The Tortured Poets Department, and Hit Me Hard and Soft.
See, the fact that, and I haven't listened to a lot of these albums. I think I've heard the Cowboy Carter one. My girl, she loves Beyonce. Like every other girl loves Beyonce. I'm sure your girl loves Beyonce too. If you're a girl watching this, I'm sure you love Beyonce. The Andre 3000, I done an album review on this. I don't even know why this is nominated. The other people in this nomination category, this is out of my league. Like, I'm not in this genre. Charlie XCX, I know who that is. T Swizzy, I know T Swizzy.
These right here are the real serious contender. But if we look at the albums of the year nominee, there's one album that's the clear-cut album of the year. It's not even up for discussion here. Beyonce absolutely.
If you were to have me guess, I would say Taylor Swift would win album of the year, but Beyonce will be right behind her. I mean, it's Beyonce, man.
Robbed this person. And that person is Taylor Swift, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe it's karma because Taylor Swift robbed Beyonce at the VMAs in 2009 when You Belong With Me won Female Video of the Year over Single Ladies, which was dumb because Single Ladies won overall Video of the Year. So it's kind of like, why would Taylor Swift win Female Video of the Year when Beyonce is also a female and she won Video of the Year?
I think they wanted to show both videos love. Like, they were split and they were like, okay, what Flakko's saying does make sense. Like, why would you win Female Video of the Year, but then not overall Video of the Year if another female won that? But I just think the Grammys wanted to show love to both. And that was the year where Kanye West goes on stage, snatches a mic from T Swizzy, and says what he says.
So maybe it's karma, but Cowboy Carter does not deserve album of the year over The Tortured Poet. It just doesn't make sense whatsoever.
And it just goes back to my point. What do you mean by deserve? And that's really not a question for, that is a question for Flakko because he could have his subjective opinion, but it's more so a question for the Grammy committee. Like, why, the winners of the Grammys, why do they win it? What goes into this?
Every department and facet, Taylor Swift outclasses Cowboy Carter. Cowboy Carter sold 407,000 copies first week. Cowboy Carter also
Good
spent
numbers,
2
great
weeks
numbers.
at the #1 spot. Numbers aren't everything. So the first week sales are cool, but you really want to look at the metric of weeks at #1. How many hits came from this album, right? How many top 10 songs, top 5 songs? And what we will see is Taylor Swift outclasses Cowboy Carter in every category. And it's not even outclassed by one by a smidgen, but outclassed meaning she absolutely dominates Beyonce.
Taylor Swift sales
when
are
I
crazy.
say dominate, please understand, I mean she beats Beyonce by margins so great.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
We
I would
can't
believe
even
that.
put it into words here, people. You have to see the visuals to understand. On the left is Cowboy Carter's first week sales and weeks
Okay, right
spent
here.
at #1. On the right is Taylor Swift first week sales and weeks spent at #1.
So yeah, if Flakko, if he's already said numbers aren't everything, but if he's basing who should win the Grammy, who deserves it based more so on numbers, then yeah, I can see why he thinks Taylor Swift got robbed. But my point would be maybe the Grammy is based on more than just numbers. Obviously, it is. Otherwise, Taylor Swift wouldn't have won. Now, in my opinion, the Grammys, it's based on like relationships, bureaucracy, business. This is why I don't really respect that award. Like, and it's not like respectable. Who cares about my respect? I'm not a musician. I'm never going to win a Grammy. But this is why I don't care to watch. To me, the Grammys is kind of like the Met Gala. It's just like people, I know the Met Gala is a fundraiser, but it's like people just coming together, you know, show their outfits, show face. It's kind of like a party. And then, oh yeah, by the way, we're giving out awards to the labels, artists who are friendly with this. I mean, I just can't take it serious. To me, something even like the NFL Pro Bowl means a little bit more because don't fans vote in the Pro Bowl and then former players and then the media votes? When the fans have a vote, to me, it means a little bit more because there's an influencing factor. Even if the fans' vote is weighted down, what it takes to qualify to win the Grammy is just too unknown for me to even get angry at who wins and who doesn't win anymore.
Taylor Swift spent 14 weeks at #1. Cowboy Carter spent 2. Taylor Swift Tortured Poets sold 126,000 copies first week at around its 8th or 9th week at #1.
Yeah.
And that still outsold Beyonce's second week numbers. Her 9th week numbers outsold Beyonce's second week numbers. Taylor Swift Tortured Poets not only outsold Beyonce, spent more weeks at #1s, but it also has more top 5 hits, top 10 hits, and top 40 hits than Cowboy Carter. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so Flakko, his opinion is that whoever has the most sales hits, like should be the one that's leading more so in the album department. Taylor Swift had those hits. Therefore, Taylor Swift should be in the running to win this. So Flakko will probably be asking, okay, so if Taylor Swift had the hits and she had the sales and she had the dominance in terms of number of weeks on the charts, what was the extra thing that Beyonce's album had that to put her to overcome the lead that Taylor Swift has on her in terms of those metrics, sales and weeks on the charts? This is probably what he's asking. You know, we told you we're going to teach these bums today how to respectfully disagree. So part of that is basically understanding their argument and showing that you understand the argument, right? So let's see what else Flakko got to say.
Obviously, Tortured Poets deserves to win #1, right? She deserves to win the album of the year, but she didn't. Why? Because it was a DEI award. Jay-Z and Black Twitter held the Grammy hostage, and they felt like they had to give it to Beyonce, so they gave it to her. Right? The award is disgraced. If we look at what they did here, it makes no sense whatsoever.
See, I wouldn't call it DEI. I think even let's say Jay-Z did have a hand and he did kind of force the Grammys' hand into giving Beyonce an album of the year, right? Even if he did do that, that type of relational thing has been happening, in my opinion, since the Grammys' inception. If it's not Jay-Z who's forcing someone's hand to give a certain person an award, it's someone else. I think the only difference is that a rapper like Jay-Z finally has that influence for the first time. But if it wasn't Jay-Z, it would have been whoever was, you know, the man that had that magic hand to make things happen back in the 80s or the 70s or the 90s. Like, to me, that stuff has always been happening. That's why I wouldn't call it a DEI award. I would call it more so nepotism and bureaucracy. Like the Grammys aren't a fair award to begin with. So I wouldn't expect it to be fair now.
But you know what also doesn't make sense, bro? The rap album of the year. and it hadn't made sense for the
You
last
talking about
couple
Doechii?
years now. The Grammys have been treating Rap Album of the Year as a DEI award ever since 2014. Ever since they gave Macklemore the Rap Album of the Year with the heist over to Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar, Drake's Nothing.
Wait, what? Over what?
14. Ever since they gave Macklemore the Rap Album of the Year with the heist over to Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar.
To Pimp a Butterfly was not in that album category. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis's album won over Good Kid, Mad City. To Pimp a Butterfly came out in 2015. It won over Good Kid, Mad City. It won over Drake's Nothing With the Same. It won over Kanye West, Yeezus, and it won over Jay-Z, Magna Carta, Holy Grail.
Drake's Nothing Was the Same, Nicki Minaj. So because they chose
I don't think Nicki Minaj was even nominated, was she?
commercial success over critically acclaimed, and they got absolutely destroyed by it. There were talks.
But even if Nicki Minaj was nominated, you could have literally look how many legends Macklemore beat. He beat Nicki, he beat Ken, he beat Drake, he beat Jay-Z and Kanye. What? You could have literally given that album to anybody. You could have given that award to anybody except Macklemore, and it would have been all right. So I would ask Flakko, was this a DEI award right here when Macklemore won? Was this a DEI award? I don't know. Maybe this Macklemore album was a big album. You can see they got 4 Grammys in their hand. It was a big album. It was that album with Thrift Shop and Same Love. But was this a DEI award? Because I'm sure someone made the boss call, like how Flacco's a legend that Jay-Z made a boss call to get Beyonce a DEI award Grammy. I'm sure somebody made a boss call to make sure Macklemore won this. Is this DEI also?
Boycotting, people were pissing in their Grammys. They have gone over the top to correct it. And I'll be real, you can't really blame them, right? If they wanted to give a DEI award the following year, I wouldn't have blamed them, right? Because when you have the winner making IG posts like Macklemore did, claiming how he don't deserve to win it and Kendrick does, you have a problem. I don't know if it was the white savior complex of Macklemore that was like trying to come out, but making
Drake got so mad at this when Macklemore, he texted Kendrick, you got robbed. I wanted you to win. I should have said it on stage. Then he put it on IG. Drake got so bad at this. Drake was like, where's my apology?
IG post and sharing a text
Good
you sent to
times.
Kendrick Lamar telling him how he was robbed, how he deserves it, and how you feel bad for winning. It's disgusting, right? Like, and I'm glad nobody ever since him has ever done this sucker shit. Right? And I'm glad Macklemore career tank, because he don't ever deserve to win anything if you're gonna behave like this for winning. We all know the Grammys made a mistake in
Hey, Macklemore was telling the truth. He shouldn't have won that. He should not have won that. So salute to Macklemore for being real.
2014. The Grammys acknowledge it. We all acknowledge it. But must we still suffer because y'all made a mistake in 2014? Can't y'all just give the awards now to who deserves it? Must the Rap Album of the Year now be a DEI award for all the weird alternative rapidy rap, ugly face making when they rap rappers?
Nigga said ugly face as he's making the craziest face ever. All right, go ahead, cook, Flacco, man, cook.
Who don't win no awards during the year, who don't make billboards, who don't go #1, who really don't sell or get no attention during the year. So y'all use the Rap Album of the Year as a DEI award to give them their first accolade they will ever get. All right? We've seen it last year, but this year particularly is just flagrant. They gave rap.
I don't think this was flagrant. I actually think, I don't care about sales and all this. My thing is quality albums. So out of these albums, I heard these albums. Out of these albums, to me, none of these albums were the best album of 2024. For me, that would be Samurai by Lupe Fiasco, who's never going to win a Grammy because he's on an independent label, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Lupe is independent. The best albums of 2024 was Samurai by Lupe and Dark Times by Vince Staples. I don't expect those to be at the Grammys. Again, this is why you talk about who deserves what. Like, the Grammys is already exclusionary just on its face because it's really only going to ever go to people on major labels and certain major labels at that. So with that knowledge, me knowing the albums that came out, this is not a bad nomination list. No album I would consider was the best of 2024 is here, but that's just my opinion. Out of albums that came out in 2024, this is not a bad list. Like, I'm not looking at the Grammys expecting to see Lupe Fiasco or JPEG Mafia or Billy Woods, even though they may have the best album in a given year. Out of these 5, which is a decent list of 5, this Doechii album is the best one. Y'all know how I feel about Doechii. I'm not like a big Doechii fan like y'all are. But this is the best album out of these. The J. Cole Might Delay Later was cool. The Common and Pete Rock, this would be my runner-up to Doechii. Eminem, Def Slim Shady, whatever. And in the Future and Metro, y'all know there's no love lost with me and Future. Don't really. I like some of Future's music, but far and few between. So to me, this ain't a DEI win. This is actually the best album out of the 5 that were nominated.
Album of the year to Doechii. See, Doechii winning rap album of the year, bro, proves, man, that we now know the formula, bro. If you want a rap album of the year from the Grammys, all you have to do, bro, is rhyme systematical with methodical, and then make a weird face as you rap it. Systematical, methodical, systematical, methodical, systematical.
Flakko crazy. I think he's misdiagnosing it. I don't think it's the fact that Doechii is a weird alternative type rapper. I think it's Doechii is signed to a major label, which is heavily favored right now. She signed to TDE, which is through Interscope, if I'm not mistaken. And that's the same place where Kendrick won all his Grammys, right? Or most of them. Does SZA have Grammys? I'll be surprised if SZA doesn't win Grammys whenever she drops. I don't think it's DEI. I think it's more... See, I gotta find a better word for nepotism. Yeah, what's a word for nepotism, but when friends and close colleagues are preferred? Cronyism, yeah. Cronyism is the word. This is cronyism. This is a result of Doechii being signed to a certain label that's in favor, and that's probably, maybe they've donated. I don't know the whole politics. Maybe they gave huge donations to this nonprofit that is associated with the Grammys. I wouldn't say it's because Doechii's a weird rapper or because she's a woman. I don't think that's the reason. I think it's more so cronyism, which is why you don't really see independent artists win anything at the Grammys, at any noticeable tick.
That's it, right? Because this doesn't make sense whatsoever. Not Like Us swept the Grammys, deservingly so. And when they swept the Grammys, deservingly so, we have to pay attention and we have to reward the people who were responsible. Future and Metro, We Don't Trust You, was the catalyst for the biggest rap moment probably ever.
That's facts. A lot of people forget that. Like, Future and Metro started this whole, I won't say they started the Drake beef because Kendrick and Drake were sending shots at each other for a decade plus, but this is what kicked it all off. Like That is on this album, We Don't Trust You, which is a Drake diss album, and they dropped 2 of them. So it's Future and Metro that kicked it off, but Future and Metro ain't gonna get no tears from me. I think Doechii's album is actually the best one of all these.
We've never seen a Kendrick and Drake go to war and beef like that, right? We've never seen it, right? It dominated rap. This album gave us the greatest rap moments. The greatest rap moments of 2024. Like That. The record on this album started the beef. Like That.
It's facts.
Like That. Facts. Me particularly, and I feel like every rap fan agrees, Like That is a more impactful record, a better record, a more listened to record, a more critically acclaimed record than anything on Doechii Alligator's Bite Never Heal. This don't even
right, but we're talking about albums and not individual songs. But I mean, to Flakko's point, Flakko and me, even though we disagree vehemently, and I disagree on his use of the term DEI as an insult, even though I understand what he's saying, I just disagree with it, to use it to insult. Even though that exists, me and him have the same question. If we were to sit down, we'll have the same question. Why are certain people or songs or albums winning? Like, what's the criteria to win a Grammy? Right? Because obviously it's not sales. That's what Flakko was saying, because Taylor Swift, she way outsold in terms of impact and everything. Weeks on the chart, she outsold Beyonce, and then Future and Metro in terms of impact and sales outsold Doechii. So obviously it's not just that. To me, I know it's blurry. Like, if you were to ask people on the Grammy committee that, you're not really going to get a straight answer because there's cronyism that exists. That's why I don't get mad over this stuff anymore.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm not capping here, people. But the Grammys now feel like if they give the award to the clear, obvious person, if they give the award to the person with commercial success, they're selling out. Now they're trying to do trigonometry and geometry and calculus when a common addition and subtraction is necessary. Stop trying to do calculus, bro, when we're trying to figure out the solution to 2 + 2. It's 4, bro. It's 4, bro. 4. So when you have these people trying to act like they're rap purists, trying to act like, the arts are critically acclaimed. Bro, Doechii wasn't even critically acclaimed, homie. Bro, niggas laugh at this album when it dropped, bro. All the
Let's see. I mean, let's fact check. So the people have ranked Alligator Bites Never Heal number 12 for 2024, 189 overall. It's hard to tell if that's, would y'all consider that critically acclaimed? I don't know if it was critically acclaimed. 7 out of 10, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 79 out of 100 on Metacritic. Say that's a mixtape. I don't know. Album mixtape. I don't know. 79 out of 100. See, I don't know if that's critical acclaim. That's based on 6 reviews. It's 79 out of 100 critical acclaim. It's got the green label, so it's great. It's not bad at all.
visuals, bro, she got clowned for visuals on this album, homie, and y'all gave it to her. But I can't even be mad because it's not Doechii's fault. She's a new artist. She's trying to grind. It's the Academy fault, bro. They're trying to overdo it now. They're now trying to get too sexy with this, bro. It's not sexy. Give it to who deserves it. Future and Metro, We Don't Trust You. It's the rap album of the year. It's the most impactful.
Nah, out of these 5, I would have gave it to Doechii for sure. Her album, like, in terms of quality, like, it's better than all these. Facts.
Sorry.
Facts.
Sorry. But, and the reason why I'm not even going to give Doechii too much, because, bro, I feel shitty even trying to shit on her moment. You feel me? But when you look at the prior rap albums, it's the same trend. Let's take a look if you don't believe me. Obviously, we know Doechii won this year. 2023, Killer Mike Michael. Album.
See, out of these, this Killer Mike, I actually done a review on this album. Live streamed the review. Killer Mike album is actually the best album of these. Now, I know what Flakko's probably going to say, yo, Travis Scott sold way more, or Drake and 21 Savage sold way more, so that's who deserves to win. No. Why even have a Grammys if we're only going to give the awards to the albums that sold the most? Where's the suspense? We can just go look on Billboard and the RIAA to see who had the most hits and who sold the most. We can look on SoundScan. There's no suspense in that. There has to be that something else that makes an album win a Grammy. And there is that something else. It's cronyism. But there's other things too. But if it's just based on sales, why have an award show? That's so boring.
Album that didn't even chart. An album that nobody listened to and nobody heard.
We heard this in the hip hop community. See, if you exposing yourself, if you saying that nobody listened to it, including you, and nobody heard it. This Killer Mike album was a big album. Like, he had a lot of great features. It's a good album.
An album that had no hits. None of the songs ever charted.
I'm
The
cool
album
with
sold
that.
less than 4,000 copies first week because it didn't chart on Billboard. That album won over Her Lost, over Heroes and Villains, over Utopia.
Yeah.
Clearly Her
Rightfully
Lost was
so.
supposed to win
Rightfully
over
so.
Utopia.
No.
It's not even close, people. Now, yo, I understand if y'all want to get the topic, like, if y'all want to maybe make an argument of, hey, bruh, you know, the Academy is supposed to listen to the album and they vote on which one is their best. Okay, cool. But there has to be some criteria here, people. Some criteria has to exist for what exactly is supposed to be the winner of a category.
Yeah. So, like I said, I never even saw that whole video, but literally how Flakko's about to end it is what I said in mid-video. Me and him, even though we disagree, and I told you we just gonna show the bums how to respectfully disagree with someone, even though you took what they said offensive. They'll learn one day, but we just gotta lead by example. Even though I disagree with what he said, I understand what he's saying, and I understood it so much, I knew what premise he was gonna come to at the end, which is the same premise I have. What's the criteria? Because it's obviously not sales and it's not critical acclaim. The reason I don't get all worked up over the Grammys is because it's cronyism, it's bureaucracy. I'm pretty sure there's like certain labels have to make donations, or they have to have certain relationships with certain people who are associated with the Grammy committee and the Academy. Why even get mad over something like that? Even the Kids' Choice Awards, Nickelodeon, is more valuable to me because kids are voting on it. It's the people's vote, the Kids' Choice Award. The kids go and they vote and they pick, and whoever gets the most votes wins. The Grammys is not like that. Flakko and I, we're both conflicted, but in different ways. I think he's a little angrier, or not. I'll say he's a little more perplexed. In hip hop, we already been through this. History does repeat itself. We've already had the whole thing with the Grammys where we just questioning why are certain things winning. The right stuff is not even nominated. It's not winning. I actually feel like the Grammys in recent years has been a lot better. Especially, I could care less about the winners, but especially with the nominees. Now, when you look at the nominees, Travis Scott, Metro, Drake, and 21 Savage, it just reflects how poor hip hop has been since 2022. You look at some of the nominees, even the Doechii award win. I wouldn't have that Doechii album in my top 5 albums of last year. It might be like 4 or 5. But it's just a very slow year. You got the Common and Pete Rock nominated. You got J. Cole Might Delete Later, which was cool, but like it's even J. Cole fans was kind of mixed on that album. So one, the quality of releases is way down, but I think the Grammys as a whole, they're getting this right, the nominees. And I say that as someone where my favorite albums from 2024 are not even nominated. I'm looking at the list holistically and I'm knowing that there are just certain artists who are not going to be nominated for a Grammy. And that's mostly going to be independent artists or artists on extremely small labels. Even if they're nominated, because Killer Mike won, right? Killer Mike won. The Met Gala, it's just a gathering of major label artists and people who are associated. And that's just what it is. So Flakko calls Beyonce and Doechii's Grammy award wins DEI awards. I wouldn't call them DEI. I would call them reparations for years and years of getting it wrong. Years and years of getting it wrong. Deserved reparations, because you got some people, you know, on a far right wing, they'll look at reparations like you don't deserve that. No, they're reparations because they were deserved. These are deserved, well-deserved wins. And I like that Beyonce won with a country album, because the people in the country music genre was trying to sign her. You know, that country, they really gatekeep. You know what I mean? Which is a good and bad thing, but it's good for them for protecting their genre. So I like that Beyonce won that at the Grammys. Like, yo. And I like how Doechii won too, because her album was actually the best album of the 5. So anyway, what do y'all think? DEI? What y'all think about T? No, I'm just playing. Who y'all think should have won? How do y'all feel about the nominees for that best rap album? I bet a lot of y'all ain't even heard some of them albums that's nominated. You know what I mean? You probably heard the Future joint. You probably heard the Doechii joint. Cole joint. Let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.